Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen. This week we are doing another tag video. This is the Giallo Tag. And this was created by the Trash Stash, and he tagged me in it. And all these questions are about the Italian horror subgenre known as the Giallo film, which Mario Bava is actually credited as basically creating the genre with his first film, The Girl Who Knew Too Much, in 1963. Also loosely based on the old Italian murder mystery novellas that were like these kind of like cheap, trashy, like little paperback novels. So yeah, the Giallo Tag against, I will put the link to the Trash Stash's YouTube channel below, so definitely check out his channel. He's got a lot of great content. So let's get started, shall we? Number one is going to be, what is your favorite snack to eat while watching a Giallo, which I thought was funny. So for me, it's going to either be penne or ziti with marinara sauce. I think that's appropriate, right? Number two is, what is your favorite 70s Giallo film? And for me, that is going to be Deep Red from 1975, the year I was born. To me, this is just the ultimate Giallo film as directed by the legendary horror master Dario Argento. Just everything about it screams Giallo film, you know. I would say my overall favorite Argento film would be Suspiria. But to me, this is the best Giallo film. Suspiria certainly has elements of the Giallo, but I wouldn't say it's a full-on Giallo like Deep Red definitely is. Yeah. Everything about the Giallo film is represented here, you know. A man who accidentally witnesses a murder, and then the cops are just a bunch of buffoons. They have no idea what's going on, and this guy takes it upon himself to try and investigate and find out who the killer is. And, you know, in the meantime, the killer is picking off people one by one in brutal fashion. Yeah. Deep Red to me is the best example of that, because I think the plot is really interesting. Not only that, is stylistically this film is just superb. Dario Argento's direction is just flawless. The beautiful colors, the crazy music, the wild music by Goblin is just awesome, and the kills are brutal as hell. This movie's awesome. Number three is, what is your favorite 80s Giallo film? So for me, that is going to be Tenebrae, another Dario Argento masterpiece, which I feel is probably the film that was most influenced actually by the American slasher film. Which obviously the American slasher film is influenced by the Giallo in a lot of ways. So yeah, I feel like it was kind of reversed there. Argento was kind of taking a playbook from the American slashers, as well as incorporating the classic styles of Giallo as well in there. Some nasty kills, though, in Tenebrae. Number four, what is the saddest Giallo? Which is a very interesting question, because you don't really think of Giallos offhand as being sad. And that was a tough one. And I'm going to go with The Girl Who Knew Too Much, the original classic from Mario Bava. You knew I had to put him in here somewhere. I mean, the guy who basically created the genre. It's an excellent film. And the reason I say it's kind of sad is because the woman who kind of accidentally witnesses the murder at the beginning, she literally like stumbles upon it because someone tries to rob her, and then in the process she gets knocked down, and when she wakes up she witnesses a woman being murdered. You know, she sees the woman get stabbed in the back, you know, and fall to the ground, and she freaks out. and then she tries to tell people about it. They don't really believe her, you know. And in the process, she's terrified that the killer is going to be after her, you know. She wakes up in the middle of the night dreaming, screaming, and freaking out, being terrified that the killer has come to her house to get her, you know, to pick her off, to kill her because she knows too much. So I kind of feel for her sometimes, you know. So number 5 is, what is the goriest Giallo film? Now to me that's easy, and that's going to be The New York Ripper, baby, by Lucio Fulci, the Italian horror maestro, the gore master. The New York Ripper from 1982. I've said it before, I think it's the most brutal Giallo, the most brutal slasher, whatever you want to call it. This film is just brutal as hell. Gory as hell. Aw, man. Once again, yeah, Lucio Fulci, I think, was heavily influenced by the American slasher film, as well as the old school Giallo film, you know, like the Mario Bava films and the Dario Argentos. And he himself, of course, did several Giallo films early in his career. So yeah, I think this is a great example of that. And man, is it gory. Number 6, what is your favorite non-Italian Giallo? So I'm going to go with Alice, Sweet Alice, which might be a surprise to some people, because many people consider this a slasher film or a proto-slasher from 1976. But I think out of all slasher movies, this one is like the most influenced by the Giallo films in Italy. The way, the style it's shot in, the atmosphere it creates, the music, very much has a Giallo feel to it. And the murders, the way they're drawn out, and, you know, and there's so much style behind them, you know. So, yeah, I think Alice, Sweet Alice. Also, I will give an honorable mention to Happy Birthday to Me, I feel, is very highly influenced by the Giallo as well. Several times you see the killer with the black gloves, and at one point the killer has a straight razor and stuff, you know. And especially with the plot, you know, the way the plot is like very complicated and over the top with the murder mystery elements to it. So yeah, I think that even takes precedence over the actual murders, you know, is the plot. So next up, number 7 is going to be, what is your favorite Giallo film of all time? So for me, once again, I hate to repeat myself, but it's going to be Deep Red. I feel this is the ultimate Giallo film of all time. It's so beautifully shot, so brilliantly directed by Dario Argento. It's got the brutal murders, the way it's shot, the style, the visuals, the great twists towards the end are awesome, you know. This movie is just fantastic. The music by Goblin, everything about it is just awesome. It's the best Giallo film ever made, in my opinion. So guys, that's it for the Giallo Tag. Once again, created by the Trash Stash. I will leave the link to his channel below if you guys want to check him out. It's a great channel. And now it's my turn to tag some people, so I'm going to tag Jen's Reviews from the Grave. I'm going to tag Dave Maggot. I'm going to tag Rob's Collection. I'm going to tag Random Horror. Also, The Late Late Horror Show. And Bushman Blue. So guys, answer the call and do the Giallo Tag. Thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared.